Hello, everyone. My name is Emmanuel. I am the marketing data visualization analyst. And today I'll be walking you guys through essentially the dashboard I built for the marketing team. So essentially the goal was to house all of the data that the marketing team has in one place. We did have data in the Google Sheets. We had data from Meltwater, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter as well. So it was just a host of data pretty much spread out everywhere. Ideally, the goal was to kind of put all of them in one particular place, as well as sort through what we already had, which was somewhat duplicated as well. So the steps I took were to look through all the data we had currently in the various spaces we had those. Went ahead and cleaned those as well, walked through duplicates, as well as mapping out best options to present them. Now, one of the processes I recommended was an automation process, which essentially would reduce the manual process that we had to go through at the moment. So essentially, a member of our team was manually going in there daily or bi-weekly in some kind of way, basically updating the numbers we had on there, which that works, but an automated process would be a lot better in that sense. I also had to look into a couple APIs. We have our Twitter data on Meltwater. I had to look into the API there, but unfortunately, we were not able to get that through. So I had to work with some other APIs I had available. Now, this is an example of what the dashboard looks like. This is just a page of it. I would also go into a demo for that as well. And future steps I'll be looking at essentially would be full automation. I was lucky enough to extend my internship as well, which is what I will be looking at for next steps as regards full automation. And yeah, let's go into a full demo now. 1 second here. You guys can see that, right? Okay, so firstly, what you guys can see here is the overview. Essentially, the 3-year goal that we have in the marketing team and how we compare to where we are now to the target we had starting off the 3-year plan. You can also see our digital brands in comparison to a couple other companies, so sister companies. We have the likes of AMI, Mars Total as well. And over on the other side, you can see our government relations as well. 1 second here. Okay, and the next one here you'll be looking at is essentially the followers we have across all social platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. In comparison, again, like I mentioned, to our sister organizations, and how the growth margins essentially. And then you can also see tables showing that down there as well. Okay, so now this is our Twitter overview here. I just basically goes in depth as regards the top tweets from. Now, if you look all the way up here, you can see from January up until yesterday, and then you can see the top tweets, the impressions, the engagements. The dashboard is pretty interactive as well, so you can essentially just change this. But you can also just kind of filter through tables to see, the highest impressions we have, and basically how that compares to the rest of it. We also have tables down here showing the growth of Vector alone and the growth compared to the sister organizations that I mentioned. 3. And now we have our LinkedIn tables here. It's somewhat the same in the sense of the posts that we have on LinkedIn and how well people interact with them. We also have the compared to the organizations that I mentioned earlier. This one here I'm pretty excited about. Right here. because I am Nigerian, and I don't know if you guys can see that, but we have 75 people from Nigeria actually look at LinkedIn, so I'm excited about that. And then we also have the rest of the data we have, so the likes as well as the followers. And going over to YouTube, here we have just the video titles, the views we have from the various videos we have on there, the impressions, the watch times, how long people actually stay through the videos. We have our follow count and essentially how the percentage of increase we've had this year, which is, like I mentioned, January up until yesterday. The total views on the account this year as well as the subscriber growth, and compared to the sister organizations as well. Here we have a Vector website. So we do have different sessions, page views. We have the top pages that people visit, the page views, how many times they visit them through the year, as we have that so far. We have the visitor countries, so from the various places people view from. And on here we have our general newsletter, click rate, the emails we send out as well as subject lines all the way up there. Now, this is our general newsletter. We also have the industry newsletter, which technically holds about the same amount of data, just the emails we send out under the industry part of things, as well as the click rates, open rates, the amount we've sent so far, and the subscribers to all these various newsletters. And lastly, here we have the Fast Lane newsletter. We have 109 subscribers here, the click rates as well, the amount we've sent, and just the average click rates and open rates over subject lines. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Sorry, just to interrupt. Thomas asked a question, but Emmanuel will repeat the question back because the people online won't be able to hear it.
Okay.
I don't think that picked up on the video. Oh, okay. Never mind.
So, my question is sort of around the scalability and future-proofness of this dashboard. So, as Vector, decides to collect new pieces of information and from new data sources, how easy is it to integrate that into this?
So the good thing about, so starting off this project, I had to kind of choose between, I looked at some options as regards what to make the dashboard on. So we have Tableau, we have Data Studios as well. Data Studios is actually quite integratable in that sense. A lot of the API is actually pretty easy to use, and they also have, I could show it afterwards, but they also have API connections to, now for example, we're moving most of our data to Salesforce. It connects pretty easy, so that's one of the exciting things about it.
Couple questions. Firstly, I want to say very impressive dashboard and presentation. We work a lot with Google Data Studio on our team, and this is really well done, overall. So start with that. The first question I had was, I think it was on the first part of the dashboard. It showed total impressions across our sister organizations, and it was hard to see a bit because of the light. Are we getting that smoked by Mila? Is that Mila on the top?
This one, the first one, that should be Mars, yeah.
Wow, okay. Wow, Mars, yeah, I don't know what Mars is doing, but that's pretty good.
They got a stage marketing.
Okay, which one's Mila? I thought Mila's it's red. We're above Mila? No, we're the second last, I guess.
Guys, so actually the last year with about.
Okay. Oh no, we got Amy B. Okay. All right. Well, that's it. I'm curious. So you mentioned second part of the internship is full automation, and so a couple questions here. The first is with Salesforce. We're talking about that. Does Salesforce, because they have their own dashboarding features, does that then replace this in a sense, or you migrate there, or just the data flows to Salesforce and you can have Google Data Studio pick it up directly from Salesforce?
Yeah, so the idea would be to have Google Data Studios pick up directly from Salesforce. So I do understand that Salesforce have their own dashboard as well. The same thing with Google Analytics. It does have a dashboard too. But the idea would be to take the data we need as regards to what we want to show, and then use Google Studios or Data Studios to visualize that.
And that's done through like Salesforce automatically exporting into a sheet, or that Data Studio can talk with Salesforce?
So it's two ways. We could do, right now, most of these are from Google Sheets, which is what I mentioned for automation in the sense of trying to connect that directly. That I've actually had a lot of issues with. That's why I stuck to the Sheets for now. But given Salesforce, I've not exactly looked into the API and all those things just yet because we're just now getting into Salesforce. But when I eventually do, I'm sure it would be seamless, hopefully. Or I might just have to go back to a Google Sheet approach.
Okay. Keep us posted. We have the same challenges coming. Thank you.
No problems. Any other questions?
Great work.
Thank you very much.